Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, Trap and Roll Soap Company and Rolls Gear, and you can find all of our old episodes at bjjshow.com. I'm Rob, and Randy and I talked a little bit about Thanksgiving and discipline and how to kind of stay on track for it, as well as looking for some gifts for the grappler that has everything. Let's face it, if you're listening to the show, you already grapple, so maybe you have somebody else you want to get get a gift for during the holidays. So hopefully we give you guys some ideas. So if you do like this episode, share it with your friends, tell more people about it. The more we grow, the more cool stuff we can do. And don't forget to go to bjjshow.com, buy a patch, buy a shirt, help support us, and we hope you like this episode. So ladies and gentlemen, it is the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show. I'm Rob.
I'm Randy.
And we're facing the holidays again this year, man. And it's as jiu-jitsu practitioners, it's hard. It's hard to I guess maybe escape some of the fun things of the holidays, specifically like eating and drinking with friends. Especially like my favorite Thanksgiving tradition is going out the night before with a whole bunch of like friends, and just having a few drinks and then waking up and then dealing with Thanksgiving the next day.
Yeah. I mean, training is one of those things that you got to remain consistent with. And sometimes that means getting in some rolls on the holidays or whenever you can. You got to earn those calories, man. You got to earn those turkey calories somehow. So,
Yeah,
and then sometimes you're traveling. I mean, sometimes you're traveling on holidays, and that introduces a whole nother element.
So like, what do you think is a kind of good like solution maybe to that? Like, if you're traveling and whatnot, I know that's kind of difficult to, aside from being like you and me, where we just pack a gi usually in our stuff and try to sneak out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just a little bit more discipline, I guess, maybe a little more compromise on like, if I'm going to pig out on Thanksgiving, I should probably just eat salads up till then.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not very good at the discipline factor when it comes to food. If it's there, I'm going to eat it, man. Yeah, I think it's just, during the holidays, I think the most difficult part is just finding the time to get into the gym and get the mat time in, because a lot of gyms close their traditional classes, their instructional classes. Those aren't taking place. But a lot of times, if you reach out to an upper belt, somebody's going to be holding a top secret open mat somewhere that you can slide into and get some rolls in. I know we do that at TFTC. We'll have open mats on the dates that traditional classes are closed. Traveling wise, like you said, I've never shied away from just bringing my gear and just dropping in somewhere. I think it's kind of cool to get a chance to go somewhere and train with people that you've never trained with before and kind of get exposed to new games. Different regions kind of have a little bit of a different approach to their jiu-jitsu game sometimes. So that's pretty cool. In Tennessee, that's been Braga, BJJ over in Knoxville. Went to Phoenix, Arizona for a wedding, not so much for the holiday season, but to the same point. I went up to Tucson, Arizona for a wedding, and went over to a gym out there, Soul Fighters BJJ, and a phenomenal gym. So there's opportunity out there. It's just sometimes it's difficult to pull yourself away from family and friends to go make it happen.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, as you're saying that, I was kind of thinking about, since you were military and I was military, did you guys do like the half days near Christmas time, like for like a couple weeks right before Christmas and up through New Year's, because you had so many 4 days? You're just like, let's do a half day shift, kind of like you only came in for 4 days. I feel like that kind of carries over. Not like it isn't just a military thing. I think it's like a civilian thing as well. Just everybody does it, where it's like, bro, it's the holidays, nobody fucking cares. Like, honestly, outside of jiu-jitsu, when I was in the military, I don't think we did PT for like 3 weeks. It's like organized PT, because we just show up at 9, do our little song and dance for like 4 or 5 hours, and then head home.
Right.
But like, I think it's just almost like a section of not giving a fuck in the year. Just like, just do whatever. It's pretty wild, but it's pretty fun at the same time. But it's difficult to get those rolls in. Like you said, like the top secret open mats are kind of the lifesaver there. Because I mean, I've done a few, like you say, you get a higher belt that puts them together. I think I've done one on New Year's Day where nobody else came. And the only thing we had was somebody came in and quit, which was kind of mind blowing on New
Mhm.
Year's. Like, New Year's resolution is to quit jiu-jitsu, but hey, it's not my choice.
Wow. I never understood that. When you talk about New Year's resolutions, jiu-jitsu, obviously we know the deeper you get into it, the higher you get up the belt ranks, the more of your social life it kind of dominates and controls. And that's a tendency that's out there. I don't really mind it. I love jiu-jitsu. So for me, that's not a negative. It's positive. Keeps me out of trouble, keeps me focused, keeps me sane and happy. It's kind of my outlet from some of the stuff at work. But I feel like there's alternatives to just quitting. If it's dominating your life, you can always cut back. People have these terms: competitors, instructors, hobbyists, and people kind of use hobbyists almost as an insulting term for people that do jiu-jitsu. I don't think that's really the case. It's still a lifestyle for a lot of people, and you can train twice a week and still progress. You're going to be progressing a lot slower than somebody that goes 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week. But I also feel like it's not necessary for somebody that's just doing it for their own enjoyment to go 6 times a week and have it dominate every facet of your life. So when you talk about the holidays, that's a prime example. Cut back a little bit, get in there once or twice. If normally you go 4 times, go half that during the holiday season. So you can make sure you're still spending time with family and friends. I mean, that's still what it's about. It shouldn't be controlling your life to where you feel like you have to quit on New Year's. I feel like that's kind of going the wrong direction.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That was good. Like Sean said, man, what a great decision. The one thing that can change your life, you just quit on New Year's of all days. But um no, but actually I was kind of you bringing that up made me think about also a couple posts I've seen on Reddit. Reddit BJJ actually has some really good content on there for things that you can discuss on a podcast, I guess. So one of them I've seen lately is people getting upset that other people are progressing, getting stripes, getting belts, getting promoted, stuff like that ahead of them, and that they feel now, mind you, like I always default to, were you the fucking black belt? Or are you the one making these decisions?
Right.
Like feeling like they are so much better than this person and that they deserve the belt because they can beat up this person who got a blue belt. That makes them a blue belt. Like I found that kind of interesting that it was just like a whole slew of these different people making the same topic pretty much.
Yeah. Well, and you look at, and that's a very blue belt thing to say, right?
Yeah, it really
Um,
is. We've all been
Honestly,
there.
we all have been. That's my point. It's a journey, and those same people that are making that comment, if they stick around long enough to make it further into the art, they'll look back in those comments and cringe at themselves because that's not what it's about. It's not about whether I can beat you or whether I can beat a black belt or whatever that decides what rank I'm at. It's really my journey against me. And even though it sounds cliche, that's exactly what it really is. Is how much are you improving against yourself last year before last week, last roll. It just there's so many different. There's black belts out there that are very legit black belts that would get smashed by competitive purple belts. So you can't. It's not a linear thing. That's not how it works. And then you've got people that have different approaches and different investments into the art of jiu-jitsu. Like we talked about just a few minutes ago with hobbyists, competitors, instructors. It's about what you Carlson Gracie Jr. said this himself. So I feel like it's a very legitimate source, right? He had a discussion with me years ago. I was getting ready to put on purple belt and I was out for a seminar and we were eating lunch. And he said, it's more than just who you can beat on the mats, your exact technical knowledge. It's actually more than that. It's more about how much you give back to the art, how much you give back to your school, how you represent Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and your school. And basically all of those things culminate into creating what your rank is. And so what you end up seeing a lot of times is white belts and blue belts have a very selfish mindset when it comes to their progression. And that's kind of by design because they don't know what they don't know yet. So they have to just get exposed to these things directly and linearly. And that's how they see the world. It's like a child. Child sees the world very one-sided, very much about themselves. That's just how it is. But as they grow and develop, they become more social and they start seeing things from an outside perspective, a more broad horizon. And jiu-jitsu is the exact same way. So that's funny. I'd have to read that Reddit and see. It'd be interesting to read those comments because, like you said, we've all been there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like it going to the BJJ subreddit actually is like has a lot of good information in there. Has some like I guess maybe some not like breaking news type stuff, but some good insights from people there, and there are actually quite a few high level black belts that post in there. But I think like kind of what you're saying, I was thinking about this too, is as I've gone through jiu-jitsu, I've progressed through jiu-jitsu, my love has grown for jiu-jitsu, but I think like my preaching the gospel of jiu-jitsu has come back a bit, because to me it's more like, it's more or less either you want to try it or you don't. You either do it or you don't. And yes, is it life changing? I think so. Does it help? Like, is there a whole bunch of benefits to it? Yes, but I'm also not going to completely go out of my way and just be like, oh yeah, you think weightlifting's cool? Maybe you should fucking try jujitsu because that's way harder, like that level stuff. And I feel like that was kind of a big part
Right.
of my white belt, blue belt thing, was like, oh yeah, this is cool. Fucking jujitsu is cooler. It was almost like
Yeah.
look at me, man. I've got my fucking 3 stripes on my white belt. I'm ready to face the world, bro. Like, you don't even understand how tough this shit is. And then like go up in rank, like, fuck, it's way tougher than I thought it was at like white belt or blue belt. And it just, like you said, it's you versus yourself. And I haven't seen many I guess people, I haven't seen, let's say this, I haven't seen many fake black belts given out, if any at
No.
all.
No.
It's always the people who haven't done it who give themselves that belt. But it's more or less of like, if somebody gets the belt, they deserve it. That's kind of the way I see it. And whatever, I guess, whatever reasons you have in your mind for like, well, I should be this belt because this person's a belt, I think is kind of, like you said, it's kind of bullshit. It's not your place to kind of quantify their journey to a new belt or something like that. And then on top of that, like, being an instructor yourself, me having taught as well, like, we look for certain things for promotions. We don't look just for, man, I tell you what, Billy's been whooping everybody's ass. He's ready for, like blue belt or whatever. I had a guy who's absolutely just smashing people, but he had 0 guard. And
Right.
so I told him, I was like, if you want to try to progress, you have to work on your guard. You can't just top game the shit out of everybody because you outweigh them and are strong as fuck. Like, I need to see some guard. And that's the only way you're going to like really start progressing. But some people don't know that. And they might have just seen, well, so-and-so has been just smashing everybody. And I've like, he hasn't submitted me. So why the fuck am I not a blue belt? Like that level stuff.
Well, that's one of the things I appreciate about, and I agree with you 1,000%. It seems like the good instructors do this across the board. But one thing I've seen from my coach is he doesn't, just like what you said, it's not about your ability to smash people and beat people on the mat. That plays a factor. That may be a small piece of the puzzle, is how well are you applying your skills, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily directly the ability to smash somebody, but how well are you able to apply your skills and control the role. But he also looks at how good of a training partner are you. So when you're working with underbelts, people that are lower ranked than you, are you controlled in that role and kind of letting them get some stuff in to kind of improve themselves? Because again, talk about the selfish element of jiu-jitsu. If brown belts and black belts were selfish, none of you motherfuckers would get anything out of your roles. Right?
Yeah.
So, and purple belts too, include them in there, because purple belts are fucking dangerous too. It's just the reality of it. If they wanted to go in there and just make the rolls all about themselves every time they rolled against a blue belt or white belt, white belts and blue belts would have zero fun. They'd never progress, and the art would stall out. So the reason why the art continues to evolve and progress is because people are able to humble themselves and let somebody else actually work on some skills, and eventually sometimes tap too. I don't care if I get tapped by a blue belt or a purple belt. Don't care, because if it happens, if it's a purple belt and they're really good, it's probably because they fucking earned it. And if it's a blue belt, it's probably because I was working on something specific, or I was allowing them to work on something specific. Because like you said, instructors look for things, and we want to see people get better. That's what it's about. I want my students to beat me someday. If I don't have that mentality going in there, then I'm not doing my job. If I'm going in there like, oh, I should be beating all these people, and it doesn't matter. It's stupid. And I agree. I think I've always looked at it more from the mindset of, when you said earlier, people have this idea of, I should be better than this. I should be higher ranked because I smashed so and so. I feel like I've always looked at the opposite. Every time I get promoted, I'm like, I don't think I'm a brown belt. You know what I mean?
Like, shit.
They're
Fuck.
gonna find out. They're gonna find me out. Kind of
Yeah.
that whole imposter syndrome. You know what I mean?
Dude, imposter syndrome is the worst, man. Like, even though, like, the black belt can like grab you by your face and be like, you're a brown belt. You're a brown
Right.
belt, and like shake you, say you're a
Mhm.
fucking brown belt. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I did kind of like mess up that escape. And like you said, it's if somebody catches you in something, either they deserve it or like you said, you're working on something. Don't ever be that. I'm not saying you, I'm saying our friends and listeners out there. Don't ever be the
Right.
person's like, the blue belt's got the cross collar choke on you, and you're like, okay, yeah, now readjust your hand a bit more.
Yeah.
Like,
The instructor tap.
yeah, the instructor, very good. That's what's called. Yeah, don't be that
Yeah.
person. I mean, it's
Right. Right.
let them feel good. It's along the same lines of somebody who's like, oh man, you're really strong. Like, no shit. Like, yeah, that's what I needed to do to help like get this submission on you. It's not just the way it is. Like when we roll, you're gonna use all your speed against me, and I
Mhm.
absolutely expect it. Like, and I'm not gonna try to like put my elbow into your like, your intestines and only pivot on just the L. Like, I think that's a dick move for anybody, but I'm gonna at least try to use some size to my advantage.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
like
I mean, yeah.
I was gonna say like the whole like, oh, you're really strong. Dude, it's cop out. Stop using it as an excuse. Just tap.
I feel bad because when I say it, I'm honestly using it as a compliment. So you remember, so like Jeremy Seff, Jeremy Seff that trains
Yeah.
it. The guy is like world record strong,
Yes.
legitimately world. I mean, he competes in powerlifting. He is ridiculously strong, but he's 5'5", like 165, 160, and dude deadlifts almost 600 pounds. I mean, it's insane. The strength that he comes in there with, and then the explosiveness and athleticism on top of that. And he's a legit three-stripe brown belt. So he's
Yeah.
really, really good, right? He's technical, he's good. So rolling with a guy like that, I mean, he of course is going to use strength. You go to get him in a submission and he just deadlifts out of it. You're like, this is bullshit, right? But then after the roll, I'll tell him, like, hey man, you're strong, dude. And I'm not even saying it as an insult. I'm not saying, oh,
Yeah.
you muscled out of that armbar attempt or whatever. No, look, it is what it is. We all use our physical attributes. That's what it's all about, is finding a game that fits your physical attributes, your personality, your mental approach, all that stuff. Finding what works for you. That's why there's so many different variations of games out there.
Absolutely.
So, and that's what I figured out too, is I have to have a game that plays to what I do. So I've been kind of feeding more into that relentless type of pace, because that's kind of how my game is. Instead of shying away from it, I'm kind of diving headstrong into it. And my passing style and everything that I play now works off of that. So and that comes from necessity. I'm a small guy, so I have to win with movement. I'm not gonna be able to smash you down unless I get the perfect position where I have your chin facing one way, your hips facing the other. Then I can hold somebody for a little bit. But if I'm just in like a classic side mount position, uh, for me to try to hold somebody who's bigger and stronger than me in that position any longer than 5-10 seconds is lying to myself. So I'm going to use neon belly transitions and different side mount variations, switch to Kessa, come back to regular, step over to mount, movement to keep you flat until I get something that I want. And then if I trap up an arm, if I can isolate a limb, then I'll go for the submission attempt. But that's what jiu-jitsu is all about, is figuring out your physical attributes and how to apply jiu-jitsu with your physical attributes to get what you want. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100% on that. So changing gears from people complaining about things they didn't get to how about things they want to get. It's almost Christmas or holidays or whatever you guys want to celebrate.
Yeah.
What do you think are some good like holiday Christmas gifts for the grappler? The grappler in every family. The grappler who has everything.
So we're like speaking to the family members who have jiu-jitsu people in their lives, men and women that spend their lives doing jiu-jitsu, and you're the significant other on the other side. You're like, I don't do that shit. What do they want?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I mean, you can never go wrong with a new gi. That's
Never.
easy, right?
Never go wrong with that.
So many different good gi companies out there. The size issue is going to be the only thing, but go look in the closet. If your significant other is already an avid jiu-jitsu player, you can go in there and find their gi size and their gi preference and all that. I think that fuzz tape you talked about probably be a good, like a stocking stuffer.
Yeah, no, I think that would definitely be a good one. I need to still got to do something for you here in a bit. I forgot about that, but
Trap and roll
um,
soap company, grab some soap, right?
yeah, he's killing it with that soap. He's
Dude, I mean, it's legit. It helps keep away the funk, and that's good because I mean that's consistency on the mat. That's good mat time. If you're not getting ringworm and staph and all that crap, consistency, if you don't know, is the secret to progress in jiu-jitsu. Consistency. If you're not consistent, you ain't getting better.
that's right. I was gonna say too, and the soap smells really good too. So it's not just good; it smells good. I was gonna say like a funny jujitsu like shirt is good every once in a
Yeah,
while. Like
yeah.
we don't need the ones with skulls and bones and
No.
was it the snap or nap tap or snap? It's your choice or jujitsu lessons. Touch me. The first one's free. Knock it
No,
off.
no, go on the cage side and get a shrimp and an easy shirt with a shrimp and a tuxedo. That's what you need to get.
Bingo. And then
Funny shit like that. I mean, what else, man? Like I would
foam roller.
say foam roller is great. Yeah, recovery, big time, man. If you want to spend a little extra money, we
Yeah.
have one here at the house. It's called a Hyper Ice Hypervolt. It's a massage gun, like a therapeutic
Oh
massage gun.
hell yeah, those things are amazing, man.
But do yourself a favor. I'm not even throwing a plug specifically for Hyper Ice. I don't give a shit what company you go with, right? There's Tim Tam. There's a lot of different things you can go into on that. But here's my recommendation: is spend a decent amount of money on it. If you cheap out, it's just shaking. It's not doing anything. It needs to have a percussive element to it to really benefit. My girlfriend and I bought one that was kind of a knockoff version, and we regretted that. And we ended up having to go and buy a better one, and that thing is the bomb. So um, that's it. If you want to spend a couple $100, go grab a really good therapeutic massage gun. If you don't want to spend as much, foam roller, lacrosse balls, resistance bands, all those things will help recover.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that's one of the very maybe not for everybody, but like I feel like a good portion of people neglect the recovery portion of after workout because for the longest time I was like, no, I'm good. I'm just gonna stretch out a little bit and go home and not even worry about it. And now it's all catching up to me. Like I got tens unit, I've got Theragun at home, I've got like foam roller, all that shit
The,
is amazing.
the Theragun is another one that's a good one. There's a bunch of different brands out there. Something else you could do, gift card for like BJJ Fanatics or
Oh yeah,
uh, Jiu-Jitsu X, is that what it's called? There's different instructional websites you can go onto. Um, but yeah, check those out. Get a gift card because instructional sometimes will help bridge the gap on knowledge. And that's something they'll appreciate.
or good book. I was actually looking at I put it on my wish list because it was like, oh, I'll get to it. The Hicks and Gracie book.
Oh, Choke is no, not
Yeah,
Choke's
or
the
breathe,
documentary, right?
breathe.
Breathe.
Yeah,
Yeah, Choke's the documentary back in the '90s. That thing was the bomb, also. But
that was good. I was gonna say, yeah, I want to read the book. Still haven't gotten around to it, but that's been on my wish list. I think that's good for any grappler. I mean, if you want to, let's see, a good pair of grappling shorts is always, a good go-to.
I was
A
gonna say
nice
rash
pair
guard.
or
Yeah,
rash
rash
guard.
guard.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, there's sites you can go on that pretty cheap. BJJHQ.com sometimes has pretty good deals on it if you
yep.
catch it at the right time. But yeah, I mean that's I think those are the best gifts in the world, man. Those will keep your jiu-jitsu people happy for sure.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Or had something that was really good for me because I have a stupid foot, like the like you said, like the rollers. The was it? Did you say the foam roller you had was that like one you could ice up or something like that? Or
No. It's just the hyper ice is the massage gun. No,
oh,
my
the
foam
I'm sorry,
roller.
I was wow,
Yeah.
taking the head a few
No,
times.
my foam roller is just a regular old foam roller. They have ones that are knobbed and all that stuff. I don't know what the significance of all that is. I'm not
Yeah,
Kelly Starrett, so I don't know about all that stuff. But
I was gonna say like I have it's like a mini roller. I roll my foot on because I post off my right foot a lot, and then you put it in the freezer and you pull it
yeah,
out. That thing's pretty legit. But I'm trying to think
yeah.
of
Not necessarily stocking stuff would be kind of weird, but if you're a jiu-jitsu guy and you got areas like on your spine or specific areas that hurt, take 2 lacrosse balls and tape them together
Yeah,
side by side, and it turns into a very small, narrow focused kind of foam roller.
that's pretty cool.
So that's, yeah, you can kind of get into some other areas with that. It'll run perfectly up your spine. It'll kind of get like the paraspinals and all that stuff. It works really well. Learned that when I had my back injury. So
I have to do that as well. Get my stuff all massaged out because the TENS unit does enough, but you still need to. Ooh, massage gift certificates. That's another good one.
nice.
Yeah.
I want to do one of these times, man. I want to go on one of those jiu-jitsu cruises.
Those look like a lot of fun, man.
Right?
All inclusive. Stay away from the railings. I mean, it'll be fun.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that'd be awesome, man. You get to go on a cruise, you get all the bonuses of a cruise, and you get to roll. You don't miss out any mat time or anything.
Yeah. I mean, like, what was it? Didn't Andre Galvao do one or something like that? Thought it was him. Or I mean, like, it's a lot of different people who do
I think
it.
so.
Let me look that up actually now I think about it. Because now I'm like super curious about it. BJJ cruise. Grappler's Escape. Is that it? Oh, I don't want to give BJJ World a. Sorry, try not to call out. Never mind. My bad. Bad for calling out a specific publication.
Yeah, I mean, there's always, too, there's punch cards. I mean, most people I feel like are probably already part of a gym or whatever, but sometimes there's other gyms in the area that offer punch cards or like a discounted seminar rate or like a private lesson type of thing. If there's somebody high level in your area, you can always do that. It's a good gift idea too.
Yeah. Word. Well, I think those are all really good ideas. I'll look up more about this BJJ cruise thing here later. That might be a good like summer vacation type thing. Who knows, man? It's a week of rolling. I mean, buy somebody a BJJ Globetrotters camp. Take it out. I might do that as well, but we'll find out. Still need to work on that. Yeah.
Something else I'd like to do. Yeah. So that'd be cool, man.
All right. So before we head out, you got anything you'd like to say to our listeners and friends out there in the universe?
Nah, man. Happy holidays. Get some rolls in. Stay safe. Stay healthy. That's all I got.
Word. Yeah, that's about the same for me. We'll have another episode hopefully next week. But ladies and gentlemen, it's been another episode of the Big Jiu-Jitsu Show. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, Rolls Gear and Trap and Roll Soap Company. And you can find all of our old episodes at bjjshow.com. I'm Rob.
I'm Randy.
We'll catch you guys next time.